A leader who wants to create a legacy understands that the number one responsibility of a leader is to create other leaders. Hello, I'm Dave, and welcome to Lesson 4 and the fourth pillar of equipping someone for success. Remember, when we help others succeed, we automatically create success for ourselves as well as for others. Now, before we dive in, let's review the overall process, what we've covered in the 6 steps so far, and we will finish up with the next steps. Now, here are all 6 phases. Number 1. Step 1 is a modeling stage, and it's where I do it. I do it like I want it to be done by others, by setting the example, the model. Step 2 is the recruiting phase, and it's where I choose people to do it, to do what I do or what I've done. Pillar 3 in Step 3 is the training phase, and it's where I do the work and the recruit is with me. That person or group of people is observing how it's done, and two-way communication is important at this step. Open-ended questions are essential for both parties at this stage, because closed-end questions like, "Did you get that?" or "Did you see how that was done?" are ineffective when dealing with someone who may have a low level of self-confidence or be overly confident. Most people don't want to look bad or weak and will answer yes to those closed-end questions, even though they may have more questions or need further explanation. Questions such as, "What did you notice when you're watching? And let me hear what you heard or saw to make sure I demonstrated and explained it correctly." Now, this takes the pressure off and frees someone to ask further questions or ask to see the work demonstrated again for clarity. This is a paradigm shift from putting the pressure on the trainer rather than on the trainee. Now, it takes patience and effort, but the payoff is worth it in many ways. First off, you help support and create a healthy level of self-esteem for the person you're training, and help them see you as a caring leader without an ego when it comes to learning and training. This is foundational for a healthy team culture. Now, notice in the first 3 steps, you or I do the work, but this is about to change in the next phase. That's because at this 4th phase, they do it. They do the work you or I were doing, but we're still together. They're doing the job, and we're still with them. Now, because the roles are changing, we're now the coaches at this stage. Two-way communication is still vital at this stage, with questions from both sides. But now, you'll give more direction and do little to no actual work. Now, after we've modeled the way the work is to be done, recruited, trained, and coached someone in the equipping process, they're now ready to do the job on their own. And this is the 5th pillar and step, the empowerment phase, and they now do the work on their own. They do it. And when they do it the way you want it done, it'll be time for that person to do for someone else what you did for them. And this is the reproduction phase, the 6th step. And that's where they do it, recruit, train, and coach someone else. This particular lesson focuses on pillar 4. They do it, and you or I are with them. And this is the role of a coach. And since your role is changing, you do more observing and less actual work, at least the work that you're equipping someone for. A coach sets the game plan, puts the players in the game, lets them play, and then lets them know how they're doing. And this is important because the goal is to get them ready to do the job on their own. John Wooden and his UCLA teams won 10 national championships. Now, to me, his record speaks for itself. He was a great coach and a great teacher. And I learned that he very seldom gave instructions or corrected his players during a game. He said that was what practice was for. Game time was for getting his players into the game to do what he coached and trained them to do. He trained and coached them before they went on the floor for the actual game. Now, when they went on the floor for the actual game, they were empowered empowered to play the game that he taught them to play. Now I want you to take a minute to think about this in the workplace or in your past experiences watching a sporting event. When the boss or the coach comes down and micromanages a tenured employee, what does that look like? Well, it would be like a football coach running the plays onto the field during a game and directing all the players on how to execute them. Now, how do you think that would make the quarterback feel? Well, probably like that employee who resents the micromanager at work, wouldn't you think? Now, if we do a good job modeling, recruiting, training, and coaching someone, we shouldn't have to stand over them or constantly manage them in what they do, should we? No, because a good equipper equips and releases. Here are 5 good questions to ask the person being empowered when you're in the coaching role. First, ask a clarifying question. What is the measurable win? What is it? Can you tell me simply what it takes for you and the team to win? The answers you may get may surprise you, but telling them what the win is might surprise them too. Because too often we can find that we have muddied the waters with too much detail. And this is a good time to gain clarity and to simplify the definition of the win. Secondly, ask a focused question. What are you going to do to achieve the goal of question number 1? In other words, how do you think you can contribute to that win that we just talked about? Now, if they still don't know at this point, it indicates that communication is broken down during the training phase, and looking for reasons to blame it on only slows down the process. So find reasons to get it right now, and then move on. Now, you have to make sure that you and the person being coached understand that their way of contributing to the agreed upon win requires a system, because systems deliver vision. Next, ask a reality question. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Getting others to express how they feel accurately will get to the root of most problems. So remember, feelings are just thoughts that are felt. Let them know it's safe to express what they're feeling, because if they are afraid to, that fear or frustration is likely to show up down the road. Head off fears and anxieties at this phase, and you won't have to deal with a lot of them later when the job isn't done the way it's supposed to be. Now, in relation to this third question, here are 5 things to measure their success at this stage. First, collect data to measure what matters. This is the time to collect real-time feedback and results to plan the next steps in the coaching and empowering phases. Secondly, evaluate the results. Discuss those results with them and debrief. Two-way communication is still vital at this point. Asking non-threatening questions to keep self-esteem intact improves overall understanding for everybody. Remember, experience isn't the best teacher. Evaluated experience is. And third, celebrate the wins and avoid demoralizing the team members by celebrating only what matters. Celebrating false wins or meaningless wins is as demoralizing as not celebrating real wins. And the fourth thing to consider, confront the facts with healthy dialogue. Be kind, but be upfront. Don't dilute the expectations by shrinking back or watering down the conversation. And finally, communicate that we're all striving to get better and pursuing excellence in everything we do. That's what we aim to model, seeking to be better in some way every day. Continuous improvement often takes creative thinking, and we can all improve our thinking, can't we? Now let's get back to the 5 questions that a coach should be asking in the equipping process. The fourth question to ask is the culture question. What are the keys to your success? Focus on intangibles such as values, theirs and the team's. Team success requires all individuals to succeed together, and the team must have a set of collective values that everyone can embrace. Now, as the coach, you'll need to determine how their values align with the team's values and vice versa. So ask, what is it about our team that can help you succeed personally? Now, the fifth question is a now question. Ask, what is most important right now? Priorities can be changed when needed, but they can also be lost amid activities that don't necessarily support the vision, mission, or task at hand. Asking this question helps us as leaders stay accountable and build team accountability. Now, those are the 5 questions that a coach should be asking anyone being equipped in the coaching phase. Your weekly assignment is the same this week as it was last week. Determine what 4 qualities you want modeled for your team. Live them out, find recruits, and schedule a time to speak to them. When you decide who that recruit will be, schedule a strategic training session with them, and then determine when it's time to begin the 4th stage of coaching. Equip enough people right, and your job will become easier and allow you time to navigate and cast a new vision for the future with an equipped and cohesive team that believes in you, the vision, each other, and themselves. Now I'll see you in the next lesson, the empowering phase.